Absolutely. Anything else you need?
Yeah, just the other ones. If I knew you were coming, I would have claimed it.
No. All good. Just relax. Sorry, I just. Yes, is that all right?
Yes, of course. Thank you.
We're at 44 people, Tanya, and rising. So I'd say maybe just 60 seconds.
Sounds great.
I believe we have Beatrice organizing the video for the Brazil team. For the Brazil team, I know we usually do our town hall standing up, but please feel free to down on this one since it's not face to face. If you'd like, you can have a seat.
Is Brazil ready? Do they want to give us a thumbs up when they're ready?
There we go. Is that what?
Hi everyone, we are ready here, right?
I think you should be good to go, Tanya. If everybody just wants to make sure that they're on mute while we kick off, that would be great. Pop any questions in the chat.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Donna. Welcome everybody to our town hall for the Americas region. So we have everybody represented today. Myself, Tiago, Kerry-Ann and Paul, along with Jamie as well. We've gathered here in Toronto and we've been reflecting on the business and most importantly starting to take a forward view on our strategy. So it's been a great time together, and of course we wanted to include you all in this forum by gathering for a town hall and providing some updates on how we're going as a region. I wanted to create a theme for our first town hall, and you can see on the screen, the theme that I've created, which is a statement made by Michael Jordan, who I'm sure you're familiar with who he is, reflecting on togetherness wins championships. And the main reason why we gathered in Toronto as the leadership team was to really start to form that togetherness as and that collaboration, and how we really show the support to each other to navigate all the challenges that may lie ahead, all the successes and wins that we want to share together. So today I want to really reflect and bring you a reminder on what the next level strategy is for the Americas, reflecting on our culture, which is the Humanocracy Charter that we built at the beginning of the year. From an ELT perspective, show you how Brunel is performing on a global basis. And then getting into some metrics like headcount development and activity, which are going to be some core focus points for us at a senior level within the business. We also recently surveyed the organisation, and I wanted to bring you some insights into some things that we discovered and that we learned, and hopefully that will also help you to move forward as well. So this is our strategy on the page that we created as a leadership team at the beginning of the year, which forms the basis of all of our budget planning. It should be familiar to all of you because one of these exists for each of the regions. In the centre, you will focus, which is our core strategic priorities, which are our compass points, our direction for future growth, how will we get there? And all that we do, what we will achieve, is all gathered under 3 key strategic priorities of diversification, making sure that we really understand how we grow and diversify our business via verticals and capabilities, simplifying our business, making it easier every day to do business with Brunel, above all, elevating the experience and the customer journey, and also making sure that we are happy Brunellers, creating that engaged, happy and high-performing Brunel. So the leaders today will talk to you about how we're progressing on each of the individual strategic plans. And as you can see, the focus from diversification is really around that, collaboration, the impact that we make, the agility that we show to pivot to new opportunities, and also the strength that we represent ourselves with in our verticals and capabilities for that growth that we're seeking. Simplification is all about curiosity, delight, embracing the new tools and the adoption, which have all gone live for us with Sales Hub Lite being as recent as this week. And that importance of accuracy and first time right, all very important factors to build a solid foundation to ensure that that growth is realised and we can enjoy the full potential. Humanocracy, happiness, culture, belonging and success are all the key themes for the strategy as well. You'll notice that togetherness appears in our winning statement, being that high customer-centric focus, togetherness, and that high energy that we all bring as Brunellers, which starts to form the culture. And you can see the Humanocracy Charter. Here is a call out to all of us to, remember to always remain agile and take advantage of all the opportunities that exist in our marketplace, truly take our share. Leadership is the second call out on this slide for our people, making sure that we remember that we work in an environment where, position and rank are not the keys to the kingdom. It's about servant leadership. It's about making sure that we understand and listen, we show awareness as leaders and truly lead our way through the obstacles or challenges that may present or build the success that we're also looking for. It should feel bold, simple, lean, open, flat and free. And above all, we should fight that bureaucratic drag and adopt that human approach. So this is where I talk about the customer before process, not process before customer, which is how it feels when you have a bureaucratic organisation. And with that, we create that Brunel that's amazing as the people inside. And we take a lot of time to do assessments of people when they join our organisation. And ultimately what we're looking for there is that you have the same belief system as our Humanocracy Charter, the values on the wall, and that is basically the important success or the formula and the ingredients that drive our strategy, with you ultimately being the strategy. Culturally, we want everyone to act like an owner, no internal monopolies. That togetherness theme is coming through strong. Let's please collaborate, be united, act as one. Control coming from around and not above. Decisions reflecting the wisdom of the crowd. This is where we're compelled to be open and transparent in our communication and make sure that you understand all decisions by your leaders. And remembering every day that we report to the customer being external, our candidates, our clients, but also to each other, customers and good stakeholders to each other as well. So how are we performing globally? So you can see the recent results published by the board to the external investors recently show that our and here I've given you a view of quarter-on-quarter growth. So that you can see compared to the same quarter last year, we've had an improvement of 10% on revenue. Our costs have also gone up by 4%, which unfortunately is why we haven't realised the full potential of that growth in our bottom line. And so these are some things that we're really exploring from an executive leadership level to understand why, how can we improve the productivity, and how can we make sure that we're taking the most of every opportunity that presents and converting them to gross profit. I've also given you a view of how the Americas is performing from a global perspective. Highlighting the Americas there, you could see that we are growing year on year, and our organic growth is really, shining through at 6%. We've achieved a 4% growth quarter on quarter, as you can see. And this is obviously from a euros perspective and measuring slightly different, which is why it doesn't show the full 10%. So they're not necessarily a like-for-like comparison. And you can start to see how the rest of the world is performing with some really key performers in the Middle East, Australasia, and the rest of the world that are coming through there. This presentation will be shared for you, and you can have a look at that in more detail, and I'm happy to take some questions at the end, but there's some really good progress. When we have a look and deep dive for the first quarter for the Americas, you can see that we had originally set a budget to have achieved about 62 million. We're a little bit off that target based on a few projects that haven't realised or some plans that haven't necessarily come to fruition. The recruitment revenue, which is a representation of all our net other revenue or perm revenue, has also been challenged in some of our regions, and we find ourselves a little bit off that original plan, most of that translating down through to our gross profit targets. Thankfully, due to some really great cost management and looking at our operating costs, looking at good lean, effective practices, we have managed to maintain our EBIT outcomes for the region as a result. So a really good start to the quarter. And I really want to congratulate you all for the contribution you've made towards that. Thank you very much. How does that actually come about when we have a look at a headcount development perspective? This is measuring from May last year to August. The red line shows you where we are now. And we kind of were on a bit of a downward trend in the second half of last year, with our lowest point, realising in about January. But as you can see, month on month, we're starting to improve that headcount and get ourselves back up into that growth potential. So I show this because these are a lot of the important metrics that we should be focusing on at the moment to make sure that we can progress the organisation and further improve those results. The decline is basically a view of Wizard and contracts that may be expiring soon, and therefore really we need to be on top of looking at those placements, contacting those clients and making sure that we're extending or finding our candidates replacement roles to maintain that headcount. Or potentially we could have some declines ahead of us, which we would like to avoid. And the big focus from the ELT perspective is going back to basics. And we therefore really starting to look at the metrics and taking an understanding of, is there some trends or some insights or things that we can learn from these sales and recruitment activity views that we now have available for all our leaders to steer the business. This will start to appear on Connect on a fortnightly basis from a global perspective from the ELT with some insights of what we're seeing. I share this today because I want to raise your awareness that you're going to start to see more of this. You're going to start to see this referenced more and more moving forwards from your local leaders. How to look at this slide, the red line is the prior year, and obviously how we're trending month on month from a current activity perspective. We obviously developing in being able to read this data, because we now have Mercury, and our adoption is improving of our tools and technology. We now have the Sales Hub Lite as well. So, it's quite interesting when you have a look at this, the amount of vacancies that we created appear to be higher than the year prior. We haven't necessarily submitted as much candidates to those opportunities. Could they give us indicators that there was more potential to be realised as we were playing the game in the previous quarter? So a lot more to come on this. Really wanted to introduce the dashboard to you, and a call out to all leaders to play a key focus to this moving forward. Because in the data will be the answers and will give us the agility to pivot towards our future potential and growth. Recently, as an executive leadership team, we also wanted to ask two direct questions of the global workforce to make sure that there were no distractions or obstacles in the way of doing your day-to-day job, and also if there was any support needed to create that focus. And we found 4 key themes that I wanted to bring to you today, because they may also exist in your workplaces, and it would be good for you to review them and take some action. There was a real call out about data quality and integration. This was about the overwhelming amount of reports that we find ourselves compiling or being asked to participate in. So as an ELT, we will take to simplify some of the requests that we make, particularly at a month end or quarter end financial reporting basis. But these are things that you should look at. If there are Power BI reports that exist, utilise those. Try and get out of creating another Excel spreadsheet, because they do become an extra task and a way to take you away from core focus and priorities. Overlapping responsibilities and lack of clarity was around the change, the competing priorities that are set from a global and local level. So we find ourselves being pulled from global requirements and local requirements. And so we're really wanting to take a look at how many things that we have in play in our businesses, and make sure that we are not overwhelming and taking ourselves away from the core tasks and responsibilities that allow us to do our jobs on a day-to-day basis. One of the other call outs in here was the amount of meetings that we get invited to. And so it's a bit difficult to call this one out, as we call you to a 1-hour meeting for a town hall. Again, please, let's look at meeting effectiveness, make sure there is an agenda with a clear call to action, and there's a two-way benefit if you're attending the meeting, that you're getting something out of it as well. If not, please use your voices via your leaders or directly, and take back the time to do your jobs is basically the call out from the ELT. Prioritisation and change fatigue. Too many projects that have people taken away from their day-to-day jobs. So as an ELT, we are going to review all global projects, and we are going to downsize. We're going to pick the ones that are most important and have the most value and impact towards our next level strategy. And we did that ourselves as a leadership team just this week. When we gathered early in the year, we had identified about 57 areas where we felt we could improve or kick off a project. We reviewed all of those. We've consolidated that down to 9 key things that we believe we need to focus on to support our business and to give it the agility towards growth. But most importantly, we also celebrated that we closed about 24 of those requirements, which have all contributed to some significant improvements, and you'll hear about those today. The other is really around looking at that continuous improvement. A lot of people called out the requirement to improve our systems and our technologies and our integrations, so that we can remove some of that redundancy, and they will kind of fall hand in hand with some of the priority projects, and we'll make sure that they feature strongly on the things that we will focus on moving forward. So the other thing to inspire you all to further drive, that connection, collaboration, togetherness, the championship play. We did the final details on a new incentive that we are launching for each and every one of you today, which is the Regional Collaboration Incentive. And this is where we are really, really wanting to empower you to engage that cross-border collaboration in every region. There will be financial reward for all of those deals that you bring to the table and work on together. Benefit for both regions in realising GP in the first 3 months. And there'll also be an annual reward at the end of year, which we believe is quite enticing and you should all really, really enjoy. I just wanted to launch the incentive today and let you know your leaders will all now communicate locally the full details of these incentives and the values towards them. But we also really believe that this is one of the key ingredients to our future growth and the focus that we need from all of you to drive forward. As an ELT, we can really see that ahead of us, it is taking a longer time to fill our vacancies. Candidate supply is also challenging in some locations. And we all know with the inflation conversations that are going on in all of our economies, our clients are going to be coming to us soon to renegotiate. And so we want to be proactive in making sure that we have focus. Everyone is able to do their jobs and empowered to do their jobs. And we also want to add an added incentive to motivate you for that call to action as well. With that, I will hand to Kerry-Ann to talk to you about all that Canada has been doing. And I'm happy to take some questions at the end if we have time. Thanks, team.
Thank you very much, Tanya. For those of you who haven't met me, I'm Kerry-Ann McMullen, based out of our Calgary office, responsible for our Canadian operations. So there's a lot of new faces here today, so I think it would be right just to start by providing a quick overview of the Canadian team structure before we dive into some updates and how we're doing up here. So our Canadian team today consists of 36 employees. We have a life sciences team of 10. Our oil and gas team is small, but a mighty team of 3. And we have a mining and energy team of 11 and 11 others between finance operations, regional marketing, and other support roles. So our physical offices are in Calgary, but also in Toronto. And we have remote employees from coast to coast in Newfoundland, Montreal, and Vancouver. So we kicked off the year this year with an office move in Calgary. We're absolutely loving our new space, but today we're speaking to you from our Toronto office, as Tanya mentioned, where we just renewed our lease. We'll refresh this space in the fall as well. And now I just want to dive into how are we doing this year. So started the year with a contractor headcount of about 193, spread across 28 different clients, mainly in the mining, life sciences, conventional energy verticals. And today we have a headcount of 254. So we're about 5 contractors ahead of budget. And I actually noticed today that as you can see on the slide here, we actually hit our end of year headcount goal. But don't be fooled. We have a project demobbing at the end of this year, so we still have a little ways to go. And with some of the clients that we won this year, we're working to end the year now with a headcount of over 300 contractors. Perm year to date, we've closed 41 deals, resulting in 929,000 in fees. Perm's one area where it's been a bit tougher lately. We're about 200K behind budget, but doing absolutely everything we can as a team to catch up. And in line with our regional strategy, this year, our Canadian senior leadership team has chosen 12 different areas of focus that fall under the strategic initiatives Tanya mentioned: diversification, simplification, and humanocracy. So I just wanted to share a few key highlights, a few key wins from this year to demonstrate that we are on the right track in growing our business in alignment with the strategic goals. So we'll start with simplification. So we've got an ops and a finance team who are very hungry for efficiency and process improvement. Up until last week, we were still onboarding our contractors the old school way. It got the job done, but as our team expanded, it became clear we needed something a bit more smooth, a bit more automated. So happy to announce that after months of planning, problem solving, preparation, we've officially gone live with ADP onboarding module. This was led by Lauren Jackaman, and it was a true team effort with Kathy, Camila, Monitha, Ali, Sarah, Miriam, and Dawn, all working to get this across the line. So just back to simplification and making it easier to do business with Brunel, elevating the experience for our contractors. This project is certainly one that checks all of the boxes. So it was a lot of work for the team up front, but it will give our contractors a much smoother onboarding process and cut out a lot of manual work that the team was faced with daily. So next, under diversification, I just want to give you a few highlights on some new business development, some new wins. So the first one is a really great example of how the results can change with focus. So this year we decided to put a little extra focus on one of our life sciences clients, Veolia. Last year, I believe we had around 5 starts with them throughout the whole year, no perm. This year, we decided to identify them as one of our strategic clients in Canada. We've had 9 starts so far this year. We just closed a perm with them, which will start in June. And we're also now receiving name hires and also shortlisted as 1 as 2 vendors to take on their RPO for North America. I didn't jinx it, Jamie, I promise. Alphonse has done a great job at visiting them on site in Quebec, while Ksenia continues to do a BD effort in Ontario. It's a really great opportunity and shows that a little focus really did go a long way. Next, when we look at niche and aligning our position with our clients and our prospects, we have a win that Dan Cherry and the oil and gas team secured that speaks exactly to that. So Dan started meeting with AltaGas sometime in the fall of last year. He met with everyone and their dog, basically, and signed them on as a new client at the very end of last year. We're currently sitting at a headcount of 5 contractors. And business has been like trickling in as we patiently waited for FID on their REEF project, which is a $1.35 billion project on Ridley Island in BC. And last week they announced FID. So the bulk of the construction will take place in 2025, 2026. But the good work that the team's done in the months leading up to FID has positioned us very well to own the majority of that work. And next, when we talk about being our experts in our vertical, positioning us as experts, an opportunity that Dan and Kyle and the mining and energy team have been working on comes to mind. So we signed on Glencore late last year. I think it came about initially from some Star marketing some of the team's candidates, broke our way in. Kyle's been working to navigate their many business units and increase our presence across their business. And Dan and Kyle, I don't believe they're on the call because yesterday they set off on a 7.5-hour drive to Timmins, Ontario, stopping in Sudbury along the way, where they picked up 5 new roles for the team to fill. Really came about by luck. This genuinely came by being a trusted partner in the mining sector. So great job, Dan and Kyle and team. And lastly, I want to touch on cross-selling, but also global collaboration. So Angelina and the life sciences team have done an exceptional job of this in Canada, but this year their work has gone far beyond our border. The team brought on 5 global opportunities to Brunel, all which are significant in their own right: AstraZeneca, AbbVie, Getinga, Jubilant, and Danaher. And the one I really want to highlight the most is Danaher. So Ange identified a global perm opportunity with Danaher group of companies, which includes more than 15 separate businesses operating in 50 different countries. So a huge win for the life sciences vertical globally. And the last highlight I want to share with you also falls under simplification. So I'd like to introduce Kathy Gavros. She's in our Calgary office today, and have Kathy speak to you a little bit about TDO and all the great work that she's been doing with the support of her team there. So Kathy, over to you.
Thanks, Carrie-Ann. So my name is Kathy Gavros. I am situated in the Calgary office, and I'm the operational accounting manager in Canada. I'm just going to start off with a quick little story. So late last year, I was in a meeting with various individuals from different departments. I was about to present our TDO, and I had displayed a chart similar to the one that you're seeing here. But before I started to speak, there were a few people that started clapping and saying congratulations as the trend on the chart was visibly rising. So it made me realize that even though we throw the term around, TDO, there's a lot of people that work at Brunel that don't really understand what it stands for or what it means or why we even measure it. So I'm just going to give you a brief overview on TDO for those of you who don't know what it is. So TDO stands for Total Days Outstanding. It's a global KPI. It's an indication of how quick we can collect the cash for the services we deliver to our clients. We measure TDO through a set of debt collection KPIs that cover 2 phases in the debt collection process. The first is DOB, days of billing. How long does it take Brunel to send out our invoices? And the second is DSO, or days of sales outstanding. How long does it take Brunel to collect the payments from our clients? DOB plus DSO is our TDO. Most trends are good if they go up. So that's why people were clapping when they saw it, steadily increasing. In the case of TDO, it is not. What's a good number for TDO, you ask? So, well, I like to say TDO is like golf. The lower the score, the better. The global TDO target is 65 days. So a huge success for Canada is that in April, we achieved a TDO of 66. So I just wanted to highlight some of the things that the team did to make this such a success. So along with developing a local tailored TDO improvement plan that was, piggybacked off of, Peter's that came out, every one of them puts in a lot of hard work and effort to make this happen. And I would say that the collaboration of the finance team is essential and what works for us. Working together, communicating within the payroll and the billing teams, ensuring the accuracy from start to finish, from the payroll team processing, all the accurate time and expenses, right to the billing team to making sure the invoices are sent out, not only correctly, but quickly. We review the contracts of the clients so that we fully comprehend their needs in terms of invoicing and creating a smooth process. And overall, the team just makes a conscious effort to do their best and stay ahead of and anticipate the client's needs. So I just want to express my gratitude and appreciation to the entire Canada Finance team for achieving this, this goal, and let's continue the excellent work. Thanks.
Awesome. Great job, Kathy. Great job, team. Last for me, but not least, we all voted last week for the MVP for the first half of the year. And I'm very pleased to announce that your MVP for the first half of the year is Jen Folks. Jen is our recruitment manager. For those of you who don't know her, she's on the mining and energy team based out of St. John's, Newfoundland. If any of you have had the opportunity to interact with Jen, you're probably shaking your head saying, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Jen, here's what some of your colleagues had to say about you. Jen's a hard worker, team player, always willing to help whoever needs her. She's resourceful, driven, she's a rock star. The glue of the mining and energy team consistently keeps the team together and the morale high. It doesn't matter what time of day, she always makes time for everyone. She's always there to support no matter the issue and somehow does it with a smile on her face. No doubt my MVP, a ray of sunshine, a wonderful manager on our mining and energy team. She ensures everyone on the team feels valued, respected. Beyond her passion for the team, ensures that clients and candidates are provided with the highest level of care. And candidates will always comment on how they've enjoyed working with Brunel if they've had the opportunity to work with Jen. So congrats, Jen. You really are a rock star. I'm not sure if this is a punishment or a prize, but you'll be awarded with a celebratory lunch with me, where I'd love to reflect on the success that you've had with Brunel over the past 3 years. And this brings us to the end of the updates for Canada. We're really honored to be able to host Tanya, Paul, Tiago, and with Jamie. We've really enjoyed these past few days, had some great conversations about where we are as a region today, but more importantly, where we're going next. So on that note, Paul, I'll hand it over to you.
Okay, thanks, Carrie-Anne. So for the people that don't know me, my name is Paul Ratcliffe. I'm the VP for the US operation based in Houston, Texas. And I've been with the company now for about 7 to 8 months. So time flies when you're having fun. Before I start and jump into my strategy page, I just really wanted to reflect for a moment and say a huge thank you to Carrie-Anne and the team here in Toronto. Can't really say that I've had a much warmer welcome. So just really thank you for all you've done while we've been here. It's been fantastic. So similar to what we've done on the other strategy pages, I've highlighted a couple of areas that I'd like to kind of hone in on and update everybody on what we're doing. So the first one being fostering collaboration. So these were all of the targets that we put together as an SLT in Houston at the early stage of the year, I believe in the first January or February. And whilst we're not where we need to be, and it's an ongoing thing, there's definitely some stuff trickling in that I think is worth mentioning. So again, another shout out to Kerry-Ann and the team. Unearthed a huge potential contract with Enbridge recently. It's a major tunneling project in the northeast of the US. And that was from a long-term contact of Kerry-Ann's that came out of nowhere. So we're kind of working on that together. David Bono down in our Houston office has brought Siemens Energy to the table. We're in the process of signing terms with them. That should link nicely into the Canada operation as well. And we've made some good progress on an RPO deal with Next Decade. I believe we've got a third meeting this week with the customer. So some cross collaboration there. And a shout out to Jeff in Taylor Hopkinson, passed the lead over to our perm team in Houston, ended up in a retained search for a commercial manager, which resulted in a $40,000 fee. So really, really good stuff. And I think my message on here is that we are all busy, and we talked a lot and reflected on that this week. And I think it was one of the opening comments that we made to each other. And time passes really quickly, but the more that we come together as a region, the more we increase our chances of growth and ultimately beating the competition. But it takes us all to be inclusive in order to drive that forward. So there are opportunities coming to the table. The focus is now growing. So I think the message out is to ensure when we're talking to our clients during client meetings is to listen and try and understand them, maybe the wider needs of their business, so we can pick up leads for Canada and Brazil and the rest of our colleagues. Moving on to strategic client expansion. So what we came up with was implementing a forward-thinking sales and account management structure. So in the month of May, we kicked off a fully inclusive BD and account management meeting, including all the verticals that offer contract recruitment. So we kicked off with understanding our targets and KPIs, and then we quickly shifted over to what clients do we have and want to continue working with, and what ones do we need to let go because probably they're not particularly good to work with. They've got lots of agencies working from low margins. And then what are the key accounts that we want to work in the region moving forward? So some recent wins there. We've got Next Decade LNG. We've got 5 placements with them. Venture Global, I want to shout out. I think it's been over a year that we've been going back and forth with them, but we finally got everything in place to get roles through in the month of May. And we've got 9 roles on the table. And an MSA was executed recently through the Taylor Hopkinson team with Nick and his team for Attentive Energy. And they've got 2 starts in June right off the bat. So other wins in kind of final negotiations, we've got some big names: Oxy, Bechtel, Siemens, Sempra, all at final stages of contract talks. And on Taylor Hopkinson in the renewable market, Dominion Energy and Invenergy, which is ultimately going to increase our footprint and offering to the market. I've stepped in as a global sponsor for a couple of the large accounts as well, being Woodside and Chevron. And I think the goal here with the strategic client expansion is we want the larger accounts that are going to help us hold on to our contractors longer is the first kind of initiative. And that they've also got the depth and capacity to help us drive our retention rates and help us move contractors between these client accounts. So that's really going to help drive our retention. Moving on to technology advancements. The original statement was embracing early adoption of Mercury, but we've put all available tools because we've gone go live with Sales Hub. So Mercury adoption is underway. Definitely improving week on week as we understand the system better. We had a kind of a rough start with some glitches, but we got them all figured out. Just some numbers here is we've had a 60% increase in calls log between just April and May alone. So rapid increase in there. We've added 400 candidate accounts in April, and that's gone to 650 in May, so further 650. So all the trends are going in the right direction. And the go live for Sales Hub was this week. It launched on Monday. We got the green light from the board to do that. A little too early for reporting, but I can safely say a lot of anticipation and excitement around the tool itself. And then a couple of numbers on Bullhorn, which is under Taylor Hopkinson. Some big increase in activity rates there. BD activity is up 50% Q1 to Q2. They drove the vacancies up by the same amount or more in that same period, and the system is now starting to push out better recruitment activities. So we've gone from a job to placement ratio of 8-1 in Q4. We're now hitting 3.5-1 in Q2. So definitely trending in the right direction. And again, with these tools in place, and if they're used properly and to their fullest potential, I think that's what we all need to make sure we understand what that is. It will truly start to help us with speed and efficiency to the marketplace. Touching on operational efficiency, so getting that first time right. A couple of points in here. We've increased our focus in the ops and finance meeting. So Lisa, Maisha and their teams have really kind of got to the root cause of some of the problems and issues. So before we would kind of try and fix it on the back end and just keep going, we've really put an effort and an emphasis on trying to find what that root cause is. And we're tracking that as we try and make some fundamental changes to the processes and drive better practices. And a little shout out, or a big shout out really, to Corey and Lisa on the RBU or rate build-up structure that we have. That was a very a large document with lots of things to fill in, and they've really minimized that to help take the guesswork and the administration out. So that's hopefully going to start resulting in less mistakes, which will ultimately start feeding a lower TDO. So really just setting a high bar on expectations across the board. And asking people to participate in that, make sure you're trained on everything and you understand. And then organizational empowerment. I don't really have a ratio or a number to give you here, but I think what I wanted to say was as our workloads increase, the local SAT is trying to give more and more responsibility and accountability through to the teams, and we're trying to support them through decision-making processes to help build knowledge and confidence and ultimately our future leaders and managers. So we talk about being committed and speaking up in and challenging each other in a polite, respectful way, and understanding that we do have differences in the way we work. The Houston team were probably tired of hearing this, but my motto since joining, and something that I've took with me all my career, is we must get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And what that means is just having that polite and respect to talk to somebody when there is an issue, and having that other person understand that you're coming with it with good intention. So it's going to help drive a much more transparent feedback culture, and in turn it's going to help us grow as individuals and as a team. So that concludes my overview of the progress on the strategy. I'm going to hand over to our guest speaker, Christy Morgan, who's our sales manager in the US. So Christy oversees and manages our combined BD efforts, and she's going to walk us through a recent exciting client win focus. Over to you, Christy.
Perfect. Thanks, Paul. Thanks for the introduction. Yes, so like Paul mentioned, today I'm going to highlight a recent kind of key client win for us for Brunel in the US, which is JERA Americas, which a lot of people in the US have heard me talking about endlessly. So I wanted to kind of highlight how we got to where we are today, kind of walk through a bit of that. And really, our initial conversations with this client actually started out with a warm lead into the website. So people are reaching out on the website. It was the global, our global page, and this contact had worked with us in Indonesia. And so shout out to John Proctor and Gordon. They did a great job working with him at his previous company. And so he recently moved to Houston to work with JERA Americas and was interested if Brunel could help support in the same way. He had a big task on his hands. He was about 6 weeks into working for JERA Americas and was responsible for basically building out a brand new project management PMO team here in the US, basically from scratch, over $20 billion worth of new projects and development projects and assets here in the US. So it was a warm lead, but it still required some BD efforts and some additional conversations. So we had several meetings with the client to better understand, their workforce objectives, what they were looking to achieve, and quickly realized that there were quite a few synergies with JERA Americas, from values to also the verticals they're in, looking at LNG, renewables, ammonia, and hydrogen. So we felt like it was definitely a partnership we wanted to pursue, and we asked to go in and present to then JERA's senior leadership team here locally. And we knew at that time they needed to build out this PMO team, and they wanted flexibility to kind of ebb and flow as projects went forward or maybe didn't go forward. And so we focused a lot on contracting and the contractor model, which was actually not new to this client contact, but it's new to JERA and some of the other senior leadership team, which is always interesting. So they really liked the idea of contracting, you know, having that bit of flexibility. But they also, you know, reiterated that they wanted people to feel important and taken care of, and you know, as much as like employees as possible. And so that's where we really focused on Brunel's, you know, passion for people, and they are like our employee. They are not just a number, our account coordinators, and taking care of them. Also reiterated, you know, our commitment to compliance and, you know, knowing the local labor laws and federal, you know, employment regulations and everything like that, which was important to them, as well as our, you know, track record, our technical recruitment expertise here in the Gulf Coast was a big one as well. And as well as global mobility. And that was a focus too of, you know, they're a Japanese company. That's where their parent company is, the largest power company for Japan. And so we knew expats would be probably on the radar at some point as well. So we were able to get an agreement in place, which was really exciting. And we were able to get good margins and a markup of 45% and then 10% on top of everything. So shout that out for visas and travel. And we've already seen these things, and we've been billing back the extra 10% to support operations and our commercial team and everyone in the back office. So woohoo, that was exciting. It was really great because it wasn't important to them to have the cheapest option out there. It was important to them to have a cost competitive option, but also the best customer service. And so everyone's really helped contribute to that, from recruitment with the intake calls to ops to finance to commercial to the account coordinators as well. So thank you for that. We've also been able to secure through this relationship is exclusivity. And this is a lot due to just asking for it and saying, hey, give us this chance. You've got a big job to do. You don't need a bunch of agencies to manage on top of building out this team and all these projects you're chasing. If we can't deliver, then fair game, you know, go out to the competitors, but give us this shot. And so knock on wood, but again, because of everyone's commitment, we've been able to secure and keep this exclusivity on this account. So I really appreciate everyone's support on it. And we are now at 10 headcount. We have 5 starts this month. So we're in the double digits. The goal is, though, to obviously continue growing the account, but also some additional service lines. And so I want to shout it out that I am taking Ryan ASAP to meet with the SVP, because I feel like we definitely have a direct hire opportunity there that we need to, you know, identify, as well as additional global opportunities as the account grows. They're looking to potentially replicate some of this plan they've done in the US and other locations. So a lot of future opportunity as well. So yeah, that's a bit of a highlight on JERA, and thanks again for everyone's support on the account so far.
Thanks, Christy. So moving on to our US MVP, we did the same as Karen. We did a survey across the staff, and we got some fantastic feedback. I have to say, this is the easiest part of my role with Brunel, especially talking about individuals like this. So from the survey across the team, it was a close race with some of the people you can imagine. We've got some great people in the team, but I'm really happy to announce the person that stood out by far, and that person is Abby DeBeck. Well done, Abby. Some comments on Abby that got fed back. She's beloved by every contractor that she looks over, consistently goes above and beyond regardless of the request, and she does it all with a smile on her face, with a great attitude. That piece I can vouch for. We have conversations almost every morning when we get there early, and she's always smiling. Pleasure to be around. Always willing to help whenever needed. Very high work ethic. Delighted to work with. Hardworking. Always willing to step in without even being asked. The ultimate team player. So Abby, well done. Congratulations.
Congratulations,
Okay,
Abby.
with that, I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Tiago.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. Good afternoon to the whole Americas team. Nice to see us all gathered in this virtual room. For those that I haven't met yet, my name is Tiago Chaves. I'm based on what the Brazilians usually call the marvelous city, Rio de Janeiro, and I'm responsible and I oversee the Brunel entities in South America. In South America, we have an entity in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro, with a bit above 60 employees. We also have a entity in what percentage-wise is considered the fastest growing country in the world, which is Guyana, where we have 3 local employees. And we also have an entity in Suriname, where we've hired this year our first local employee, Ruiz, in Suriname, which is a country that also there's going to be a lot of potential and a lot of growth. So I'll share with you all a little bit of an overview of what's been happening in South America. This is our strategic plan that you're seeing on the screen. And we've been working very hard on this strategic plan during the course of the year. In regards to the main points that I would like to highlight, I'll start on the right column. If you look below, what will we achieve? There is a add a new cylinder bullet point. So when we were saying a new cylinder, we are referring actually to a new business unit. So last year, when we were reviewing our strategic plan, we believed that our outsourcing unit was performing well, our perm unit was performing very well. And in order for us to maintain our growth, we would like to add what we were calling an additional cylinder, which was a new business unit that would support our growth. So our team did a lot of work assessing all the services that Brunel has worldwide. So we spoke with many people all across the world. We did assessments in South America and the local markets, not only in Brazil, but in pretty much in every South American country. And within all the assessments, we believe that the RPO services linked to the life sciences vertical was the perfect fit for the local markets. A lot of work being done with Jamie. We spoke about RPOs, I believe, Jamie, in Canada last year, around a year ago, and a lot of work being done by Jamie, by Tanya. And this year we hired Luis Tomás, which is a senior RPO manager sitting in São Paulo. And we're very happy with the strong start that Luis had on his first 30 days. We had more than 20 face-to-face meetings with clients that were driven by Jamie, Luis himself, and very much supported by the whole sales Brazil and South America team. So that was a very nice milestone for us. If you go to the below bullet point, you'll see establish a local entity in Guyana. And I'm sure that Chanel can say how much work we've been putting into this. So it's more than a year worth of work. High level, without going into many details, we have a successful entity in Guyana. We had nice results in Guyana last year, but the local government is requiring us to have a local entity, is not allowing us to operate any longer under an international entity in Guyana. We need to become local. Brunel, obviously, we want to service our clients, but always we want to do it in a safe manner, mitigating all the risks. So long story short, big challenge, and it was very nice to see Brunel putting together a global team, very experienced global team to work on this. Chanel very much involved, but not only Chanel and myself, but also Adam Donson, our global commercial manager, Rick, our regional director, previously Graham, and Tanya very much involved, and with Peter, our CFO, along with Tresham, our businessman. So after a lot of work, a lot of meetings, a lot of assessments, speaking to attorneys, lawyers, and all sorts of specialists, by the end of this month, we will probably go to the most important step. Peter will be flying into Guyana with myself, and we believe that after the decisions are made in country, we will have a Guyana local entity in place within the next few months. And we already have a few clients lined up that are just waiting for us to have that local content certificate to start working with us. So long story short, the local entity will unleash a lot of business for us in Guyana. So we're very happy to see all the work that has been done previously come alive and turn into a local entity. I would also like to go down. Again, we don't have enough time to go, and that's not the point to go on every single topic, but if we could go down all the way to constantly improve mindset centered on high impact, value, and growth. So on that bullet point, what we want is, the team has a very much and continuous improvement mindset. What we try to establish this year is making sure that we're focusing on time on improvements that generate very high value. So within all the improvements that were implemented during the year by the team, I would like to highlight one that Bruno was very much involved. So for those that don't know Bruno leads our perm team and has been very successful for a few years in Brazil. Bruno was recently promoted to a senior leadership team within the Brazil organization. Now he not only has responsibility over the perm, but also he also has responsibility of the entity in a certain way. And his first, let's say, positive challenge was to look at every single business routine that we have and see how can we make it more efficient, more assertive, how can we be leaner, and how can we revamp these routines in order for us to generate more business. So a lot of work was being done. I think just myself and Bruno, we had 4 1.5-hour meetings. So after all the work that was done, 10 new routines were either revamped or created, and Bruno has been managing the execution of this plan along with the team. And I'm sure that within 4 or 5 months, we will see strong results coming out of all of that was implemented. I'll also mention if you go all the way down, you'll be see a topic on execute on Mayor Monitor People-Driven Action Plan. As we all know, passion for people is one of our values, and it was very nice to see that on the last Mayor Monitor, the team indicated that they would like us to improve in assessment and feedback, and we saw a very robust, well-structured HR training program on assessment and feedback being launched and executed during the month of May. So trainings for the managers, trainings for the individuals, trainings on the process, guidelines, written material, everything launched in May of this year. So we can do very well on our mid-review appraisal. So congratulations to Livia, Sophia, and João, along with the managers, for all the work that was delivered during the course of May. So last, probably the cherry on the top, there's on the first column, there is support our clients to excel in diversity via specialized recruitment. Working a lot on DIB for at least, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. And initially we had the goal to have a specialized recruitment unit within DIB. And we noticed that first we would need to learn more about the topic, build the capabilities in order for us to generate value in that sense, in our core business in that sense. And so a lot of work has been done by our teams in terms of workshops, trainings. Some of them did external trainings as well, processes, assessments, external support also. And we believe that right now and again, also in Canada, myself and Tanya, I don't know if you remember this, Tanya, we were walking down the streets and chatting. I was sharing a few things about what we were doing in terms of DIB in Brazil. You shared what the Australia team was doing with a specialized recruitment unit. It seemed like a good match. We had conversations with the Australia team. We saw that the model that they have there, which is proven, which already works, needed to be a bit adjusted, but seemed to have a very good fit with the Brazilian markets. So after the whole framework and structure of this new unit that we're launching now in the month of June, which is a unit of recruitment specialized in DIB. So after the whole framework was put in place, Vinicius, the South American recruitment manager, he was invited to lead this unit. So Vinicius, the ones that know him, has more than 10 years of experience. And besides him, when we thought of a specialist, someone that would be very experienced, sales also experienced, and recruitment experience, the first name that came to mind was Daphne, who also joined this unit and will be responsible for this unit, along with the support of Livia from HR that leads the DIB committee in Brazil. So the whole framework was ready. And to talk a little bit about this unit that we're launching now in the month of June, I'll pass it over to Daphne herself so she can share more details.
Hi, everyone. Hello. For those who don't know me yet, I am Daphne. I work with Brunel for over 3 years, and now I'm going to work with diversity and diversity recruitment. We started having training with Brunel Australia with NIs We had a long training with her, and we are exchanging materials, proposals, marketing things, and we are adapting for our reality here in Brazil. We are also studying a lot, having some courses, having some conversations with possible partners. We are looking for partners who have large databases, CVs for this kind of recruitment. We are starting with women in leadership positions, offshore women and disabled, and we are going to start now in June. We are more than ready to start and more than excited to start as well. And I myself am really touched by this matter, by this thing, because I myself am a disabled person, as I have Parkinson's disease. So let's go and let's go. Let's start, and we're gonna hear a lot from us. Again, Tiago, can continue. Thank you.
Very good, Daphne. Thank you. Thank you for all the great information you shared, and we're very excited about it. And if you have any questions about the new DIB recruitment union in Brazil, feel free to reach out to Vinicius, and feel free to 100% reach out to Daphne, and they can share more. Thanks, Daphne. All right, and we have the Brazil MVP. So this is a new structure. Guyana and Suriname, I'm very sorry, but we were not able to fit you on this vote. But for the next town hall, I can guarantee you 100% you will also be participating. So on this specific vote, we took the winners of the KPI meetings that occurred in Brazil recently. So we had 3 different winners, and within these 3 different winners, a survey was launched to the whole Brazil team. And as the Brazil MVP, the person that won is a person that was referred to as someone very resilient, someone always available, proactive, and also always work with a lot of empathy. So very high on collaboration. And the winner is Carolina Lagoa. So congratulations to Carolina. Carolina is on vacation at this moment on PTO. So it's just a coincidence. So I'm sure she'll be seeing the recording of this video. And we're very happy to see Carolina being recognized by the whole team. Carolina started in Brunel as a youth apprentice, and since point A, she has demonstrated always, besides being very collaborative, being very curious, being very proactive, has been on a very fast learning curve and surprising the whole team in a very positive way, and adds right now a lot of value through her new role as an intern within the accounts department. So congratulations to Carolina, to her managers, to her colleagues, and to all that she has accomplished so far. And I'll pass it over to my colleague, Jamie.
Thank you, Tiago. Hi, everyone. I know we're up for time, so I'll be very brief, but thank you. For those of you who don't know me, I am Jamie Alvarez, the head of RPO for Brunel, aka the RPO guy. I sit in Toronto, but my business is really global. And I'll start with sharing some really cool stories for this year. So this year, in the first half, we have added 3 new RPO, and we continue to maintain the number 7, the lucky number 7 at the moment. And what we're trying to do here is really continue to follow our guiding principles in diversification, simplification, and humanocracy that are telling us how we should build our business. And in order to get there, we're focusing on some of the approaches. For example, in diversification, adding new clients is one thing, but another thing is what are we really doing within the RPO space? So we're not just doing the traditional recruitment, we're also doing assessment centers. We're trying to help our clients with identifying some of their gaps in the talent acquisition processes, improving them, optimizing their current status. And that seems to be going quite well. You know, we're getting really good feedback on how companies are transforming their way of working, and we see that evidently through extensions of programs that would have been a couple, 3, 4 months long, and they're coming into second, third extensions, sometimes multi-year extensions. So really big wins for us. Very proud of doing that from a diversification perspective. Another thing here is that we are also in the diversification space. We have won this year projects in Europe, USA, and Canada. And we have others in South America or Latin America. We have some that we're discussing in Asia. So we're truly looking at achieving a global status through our Center of Excellence, which we will talk about in a little bit as well. Over the last year, some of you might have heard me talking about building our infrastructure and optimizing it to make sure that we're ready for the growth that we're anticipating to have in the next little bit. You know, what we did is we built ourselves from the inside out. We made sure that we continue to serve our clients, but make sure that everything inside is a well-oiled machine. And that doesn't happen easily when you have a running business as well. I mean, it's never easy, but with the running business, it makes it that more challenging. So in order to simplify it, we brought in an external a consultant who has done an amazing work for us. She's finishing, unfortunately, at the end. Well, unfortunately, everything comes to an end, but at the end of June. And the great news about it is that we added somebody in Jackie Fahy, who is somewhere here, is going to speak with you guys in a moment as well, as the Director of Operations based in Houston. Jackie will help us manage all of the operations and delivery and compliance with a big C for Brunel as well, RPO. So really excited about that. Echoing what Tiago said, you know, very excited to have hired and improved our BD front with Luis in Brazil to kick off sales in Latin America. Also I can share that we have improved our technology adoption, identifying new pieces of technology that are going to help us be more efficient, faster, and serve our clients better. The last project that we onboarded was due to a relationship we have built in Canada with some of our team members, particularly with Dan, who's not here at the moment. He introduced us to Palmer Lowe. He stayed resilient, making sure that he followed up with them, and we had our latest win there as well in Canada. So really excited to see that the collaboration continues to be present and at the front of our approach. And then in humanocracy space, I'd like to choose to say that the RPO team, you know, Jackie just started, and her feedback is, wow, we really have an amazing team. And I do believe it very deeply. I think I call our team the rock stars, and there's a reason behind it. You know, when they're in front of the client, they're performing, they're singing their tunes, they're doing a great job. But in the background, they're working really hard, making sure that they're doing a good job, that they're preparing for these calls, that they're preparing to talk to the candidates. So they're all well-rounded. We want to make sure that they're all well-engaged, that they're excited about what they're doing, that they're challenged with their work. It's so very proud to see that the team is moving in the right direction. We can go into the next slide, Tana, please. So this RPO infrastructure project focused very largely on becoming globally compliant as a business unit with Brunel. And some of the highest achievements that we got to was getting clarity of our service, improving our discovery and implementation program, a center of excellence, our strategy, where we're going to be, who we're going to be, how we're going to talk to the client, so, the market, where we're going to go, define our roles internally, create a delivery excellence program, marketing and branding. As I mentioned, we brought in Joanna, hired Jackie, and implemented processes and procedure that are in constant movement right now in optimization. I'll pass it over to Jackie to talk to us a little bit more about that.
All right, thank you, Jamie, and I'll try and speak as quickly as possible. I know we're over time, but as the new Director of Operations for our RPO division, my primary focus is to really ensure seamless operations and exceptional service delivery in our RPO endeavors. So for those of you unfamiliar with RPO or recruitment process outsourcing, I would essentially describe RPO as a marriage between agency and in-house corporate recruiting. So it combines the metrics and expertise of agency with the deep understanding and alignment of culture found in internal recruiting. So here at Brunel, we offer a diverse range of RPO models to cater to our clients' unique needs. We have the enterprise model, which provides comprehensive long-term recruitment solutions. The project model, which offers targeted support for specific hiring initiatives, and hybrid, which combines the best of both worlds, really offering flexibility and ongoing partnership benefits. Additionally, we also offer the ROD, or recruitment on demand model, which provides scalable recruitment solutions for immediate requirements, ensuring agility and efficiency. In terms of infrastructure, we recently implemented the global compliance program, which is to ensure adherence to regulations across all of our operations. And in order to support our clients efficiently, we have Maria Morongo, who serves as our manager over discovery and implementation to ensure that we have successful onboarding of all of our new clients. She's been doing a fantastic job. And as we continue to grow and evolve, my commitment is to build upon our success by implementing efficient processes and delivering exceptional results. So if you ever have any questions regarding RPO, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to answer those questions at any time. On our next slide, the fun slide. So the RPO MVP, this was a close call. We have a fantastic RPO team, but the results did come in. And this person has been described as knowledgeable, super organized, reliable, caring, and definitely a leader. I have seen that in just my few weeks here. And she's also the OG of the RPO team. She is the first hire on the RPO team, and that person is Diana. Congratulations, Diana. You have been so instrumental to my onboarding here. You've been a fantastic team leader, go-to, knowledgeable. Just thank you for everything that you've committed to this team.
Okay, here we are. Thank you to all our presenters today. Oh, sorry, my camera seems to be a bit funny. Thank you to everyone that presented today. Team, thank you for joining. Congratulations to all of our MVPs. Some wonderful recognition and very, very deserving achievements there indeed. Kerry-Ann, to you and the team, thank you for your hospitality. It's been a wonderful experience to be here with you and the team. For me personally, team, I trust that we brought you some insights today. You learned something about our business. You've written down some actions, and I want to follow up on that. I want to know more. I want to collaborate, and I want to help progress Brunel even further. We will send out a survey at the end of this to get your feedback. What do you want to hear more of, less of? Because this is all about you and making sure that it gives you insights that you need to drive the business forward. Obviously, togetherness wins championships is the theme. And I'm going to ask Donna to play a very quick little video because I think Michael Jordan says this best.
He said organization wins championships. I said, I didn't see organization playing with the flu in Utah. I didn't see him playing with, with the bad ankle. Granted, I think organization put together teams, but at the end of the day, the teams got to go out and play. So in essence, I think the player the championship and the organization has something to do with it. Don't get me wrong, but don't try to put the organization above the players, because at the end of the day, the players still got to go out there and perform. You guys got to pay us, but I still got to go out and play.
So team, that's just an acknowledgement from us as your leaders that yes, we are the brand on the wall, we are the logo, we are Brunel, we provide you the structure, but we respect that you are our team. You are the ones that have to go out and play. And as the final slide said, we're really hoping that you're all on board and ready to ring this championship, which is Team America's. Thanks for your time. We have gone over. Please put all of your questions in the chat to any of the speakers today or anyone else. We'll all personally respond. But it's been a pleasure running this town hall for you today. Have a wonderful day, and we will speak to you all very soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.